Welcome to the Switch Style Podcast, where we encourage you to think beyond what you hear. I'm your host, Smooth, and joining me are Riggs and Bond. Riggs, what up, man?
Ain't nothing. What's going on?
I'm good, man. Glad to see you.
Good to see everybody here.
What's up, Bond?
Hey,
Glad to see you.
glad to be here.
People been looking for you.
Oh, I'm sorry.
They say, where Bond at?
Santana in basketball game, so
Basketball.
basketball.
Yeah, young Michael Jordan.
And please excuse my voice. I am sick again.
Oh, it's okay. It happens.
Yes.
This crazy weather, you never know what's going to happen, so it's cool.
Yeah.
So don't worry about it. You'll get over it.
I'm glad to see you guys, though.
Of course. Glad to see you.
Thank you. Good to be seen.
Yeah.
We need to go check out one of them games, and you need to make sure you're chronicling young Santana's progress on the basketball court.
I know.
Yeah.
Some little Hoop Dreams joint.
So we'll come check them out. But audience, welcome back to the Switch Style Podcast. This is episode 45.
45.
And we have a great episode for you coming up. We'll actually update the charts. We'll let you know what's new, what's coming out this Friday, February 10th. We'll also continue our coverage of the 59th Annual Grammy Awards. And last but not least, we're reviewing I Decided by Big Sean, or Lil Sean as Riggs likes to call him.
I can't help it.
Yeah, Riggs.
Because he ain't big at all.
Nah, he a little
Not
dude.
even a little bit.
He a little dude.
Talented little nugget.
Yeah,
Oh,
he's
that's
very talented.
That's cute.
I don't say that. That sounds.
Oh, yeah, that is.
Yeah.
My fault. Yeah, but I don't even know. Yeah.
But he's a talented guy. So let's go ahead and jump into it because we got a lot to cover tonight. Congratulations, Migos. Their second album, Culture, debuts atop the Billboard 200, earning 131,000 units. 44,000 of those were traditional album sales. And just to note, 77,000 were streaming equivalent units. So, audience, they debuted with 131,000 units, but most of those units were streams. So, the Migos, they hit number one, but they didn't sell the most albums this week.
Well, that's good. Congratulations to them.
Oh, yeah.
I was listening to the radio this morning, and I believe they bet $300,000 on the Atlanta Falcons. So
That was a piece, right?
yeah, no, I think it was collectively.
Okay.
I think.
That's impressive.
So hey, everybody support the Migos because they need it.
Yeah, they definitely need it because they lost some money. And while we're on the Super Bowl, congratulations to Tom Brady and the New England Patriots. I want the Falcons to win, but it's cool. No
Boy,
big deal.
everybody want the Falcons to win.
Boy, I just wanted them to win. Just because.
Me personally, more so than anything, I wanted a good game.
Yeah.
And it definitely
And it
was a good game.
Yeah. That goes to show you never underestimate and don't let your guard down.
Yeah.
Because you never know.
Yeah.
Yeah, they took their foot off the gas.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the Falcons, they disappointed young Jeezy. He goes by Jeezy now. Sorry, Jeezy. But he said that he wanted the Falcons to win the Super Bowl, the Migos to have the number one album and song in the country. And we only got one out of the three, which is unfortunate, but we'll get into that later on. And also on the 200, at number 2, Brantley Gilbert's The Devil Don't Stop arrives at number 2 with 77,000 units. 66,000 of those were traditional album sales. So he actually sold more pure albums than the Migos. So congrats to him.
Congratulations.
And Riggs will be pretty excited about this one. We talked about it last week. Kehlani's Sweet Sexy Savage bows at number 3, earning 58,000 units, 32,000 in traditional album sales. That's strong.
That's nice. She's a talented young lady.
That's strong for a first week. That's very strong, especially in this climate. So I'm happy for Kehlani. So congrats, Kehlani, Migos, and Brantley Gilbert. And on the Hot 100, Ed Sheeran's Shape of You climbs back to number 1 for a second non-consecutive week. So congrats, Ed Sheeran. He actually bumped Migos Bad and Bougie down to number 2. So they didn't complete the trifecta, but maybe next time.
Next time.
And speaking of Ed Sheeran, we'll actually talk about him later on in the show. And we're actually going to talk about his album in a few weeks. It comes out on March 3rd, so looking forward to that one.
Me too.
So before we move on to the next thing, again, if you like what you hear, please go subscribe to the podcast on iTunes, Google Play Music, SoundCloud, and YouTube. All at Switch Style Podcast. There we go. And also follow us on Facebook,
Instagram,
and
Twitter.
All right. So let's check out the new releases this Friday, February 10th. First up is Lupe Fiasco.
Mm-hmm.
He's back with Drogas Light. And Michael Bolton. He's back with Songs of Cinema. So, Riggs, you expect any of these guys to debut at number one?
Maybe Lupe. Michael Bolton. It's just been a trend, especially over the past year, that the people who you might think have a cult classic, a cult following of older people who would support him, just that, don't get the support that you might think. So, yeah, Lupe probably will. I'm a fan of Lupe's talent, but I don't know the whole thing. Like I was talking earlier, he kind of rubbed me the wrong way with some of his antics. Definitely talented dude.
Yeah, he is. And me personally, I don't expect either one of them to debut at number one, to being honest.
Man, Lupe, he does well, man.
Yeah, he does well. He, after doing some research, he only has one number one album, and that was back in 2011. That was 6 years ago. And Michael Bolton himself has 2 number one albums. The last one was Timeless in 1992. So that was 25 years ago. And
wow.
Hopefully the Migos, I would like to see the Migos get a second week at number one.
Oh, I wouldn't mind it.
Yeah, and the albums that I really want to see at number one, they're not going to get there. Most notably Sampa, his new album The Process, which we'll talk about in a couple weeks, and Sid from the Internet, her new album Finn. We're going to talk about that one as well.
I like the Internet. Her and what's Thundercat's brother's name? He plays with them, doesn't he?
It's the baby brother. I think his name is, I forget their names because you got Ronald. I think Ronald is the oldest, right?
Mm-hmm.
Then Thundercat is in the middle. Then I think the baby brother is the one that plays with the Internet.
Now she is very talented, but all of their songs have a deep bassline groove to them, and Thundercat has his own thing, but the younger brother, has got like a deep technical groove. He's a bad dude. Yeah, he does. And the standard has been set so high. So, I mean, that's kind of tough to live up to when your oldest brother is great, then your middle brother is Thundercat, whose reputation just precedes itself. So
you got to do big things.
Yeah, you got to do big things. So we'll see what happens. So let's go ahead and jump into this Grammy Award preview. This week, we're actually but making our picks in the general categories. Okay. And that consists of 4 different categories, which are Best New Artist, Record of the Year, Song of the Year, and Album of the Year. And audience, if you're not familiar with the Grammy Awards, these are the big awards. These are the ones that people remember the most. These are the ones that bring the most recognition or are the most highly sought after, if that makes any sense. The ones that make the stars cry the most and thank Jesus the most. So we'll start with Best New Artist, and the nominees are Kelsey Ballerini, The Chainsmokers, Chance the Rapper, Myron Morris, and Anderson .Paak. So, y'all want me to go first? Sure, go ahead. We already know who you picked. Yeah. I said who I picked a few weeks ago. And I'll just go down the list very quick. So Kelsey Ballerini, she's a country artist. She came out last year with her debut album. She's from Knoxville, Tennessee, which is a great thing. So with that alone, she could probably get my vote. She's also a Virgo, which is a great thing. She's only 24 years old. And she started writing songs around 13, 14 years old. And her debut album actually came out in 2015, May of 2015, which is nearly 2 years ago. So that's a long time ago. And the name of the debut album was The First Time. She had a few singles off the album. But just to cut to the chase, Best New Artist is her only nomination here. In my opinion, to win Best New Artist, you have to at least have a body of work nominated in one of the categories, and that she doesn't. The First Time is nominated for Best Country Album, and she doesn't have a single nominated as well. So for that alone, I can't give her my vote. And next are the Chainsmokers, pop duo, Andrew Taggart, Alex Paul, Closer was huge for 12 weeks. Don't Let Me Down.
How can we not forget? Right,
we can't forget it. We talked about Closer, and they're still on the charts. It's still, I think it's still in the top 10. So Closer is doing well. But my problem with the Chainsmokers is they've yet to release their debut album.
They just got a single.
Yeah, single, a collection of singles, really. And I'm not sure about if they can sustain or have any longevity in the industry. As producers, they can, but as artists, I wouldn't have nominated. I would have nominated in some type of production category, even though one of them do sing and write. It's not the greatest in my opinion. And Chance the Rapper. My pick.
No Chance the Rapper.
Yeah, he's obviously my pick. To do what this guy has done and be independent. Just think if he had a big machine behind him, what he really could do.
Right.
Everything he's done has been independent. I mean, he had a song with the Olympics. He did a song for Nike. Coloring Book was huge. He didn't sell a lot of albums because it wasn't for sale. It was streaming only. And Chance doesn't sell his music. He had his own festival. And Coloring Book is really the best rap album that came out this year, arguably. That Life of Pablo. Depends on who you're talking to. And Maren Morris, she's another country artist. I think her and Kelsey Ballerini, they're going to split that vote. I think they're by default going to bump each other out. And last but not least, Anderson .Paak, really, who's probably my favorite artist on the list. He should win. He should, but he's not. And I'll leave it at that. But Riggs, what you got?
Well, I kind of agree. Was Kelsey Ballerini and Maren Morris.
Country.
You know, out of the two, actually, if there was one, it would be Maren Morris. I like her sound a lot better.
Yeah,
She's got a little bit of soul, and her sound is a little more, well-rounded. So that's actually a pretty good album that she has. Anderson .Paak, that's my pick. I think he's a little bit of a sleeper, but not a sleeper. Chance the Rapper, he's got an awesome album. He's doing big things. He is going to win at least 2 awards. We don't know which yet or whatever. We can go back and forth and argue. He's going to win something, but for this one, I'm going to pick Anderson .Paak. And the Chainsmokers, they could honestly win because they have had so much success. But kind of like you, it's a cheeky success. It's not like a solid thing, So especially since the votes go from their peers, musicians and everything, even though they deserve some respect, I wouldn't pick them.
Vaughn, what about you?
I would say Chance the Rapper.
Okay.
Now, Anderson .Paak, he's kind of new on the scene, but I think Chance the Rapper is the one who really got his out there. And everybody knows about Chance the Rapper. You turn on the TV, he's on the Kit Kat commercial, so he's, I think he should get it.
I think Chance had the biggest impact, and it's really probably a 2-horse race, Chance and Maren Morris. I think her and Kelsey Ballerini are going to cancel each other out. They're going to split that vote. So we'll see what happens with that. But I picked Chance the Rapper. Vaughn went with Chance, and Riggs went with Anderson .Paak. And Riggs, you're not alone. According to some of my sources, another guy, I don't know him personally, but what I've read, one guy, an anonymous voter, he did vote for Anderson .Paak.
Oh, okay.
So you're not alone on that one. And we'll actually move on to Record of the Year. And the nominees are Hello by Adele, Formation by Beyonce, 7 Years by Lucas Graham, Work by Rihanna and Drake, and Stressed Out by 21 Pilots. So, Vaughn, I go to you first. Who's your pick?
Oh, I'm going to go with B.
You getting in formation.
Yeah.
Vaughn, getting in formation.
Yeah. You already know. I'm going with B. Even though my girl Rihanna, but I'm going with B.
Riggs, what you got? Hot sauce in the pocketbook.
Yeah, hot sauce in her bag. It's something sitting right there on the counter.
I'm gonna say hello.
Hello.
I mean, they're not asking who I want to win. Who I think is gonna win.
Yeah.
I do think it's gonna be hello.
Who do you think should win?
This is actually a good one. There is some competition in this one. Drake has had a lot of success. Drake and Rihanna. That's a strong contender. I like Lucas Graham the most out of all of these, to be honest.
I agree. It's a 2-horse race, in my opinion. I think 7 Years by Lucas Graham and Stressed Out by 21 Pilots. Those are the 2 best records on the list, in my opinion. I think the other 3, they made, well, I can't say they made a bigger impact, but Work was obviously huge. It set at number 1 for about 8 to 10 weeks. Hello was Adele's big comeback single. That was huge, but we talked about in the show earlier, Hello, it felt like an extension of 21. It felt exactly the same as what she did on her previous 2 albums, and for that alone, I told you guys earlier, if it's me, I'm not giving Adele anything this year. Seriously, just being honest, I ain't giving her anything this year. I just think there are more deserving records, and I think Lucas Graham's record was the best on the list, and he's only nominated for, well, the group, they're only nominated for, I think it's 3 or 4 Grammys this year, and this is the one that they should win. They should win this and Song of the Year. We'll get to that in a sec. Well, I take that back. They should win Record of the Year. We'll get to Song of the Year in a second. But my pick here is Lucas Graham. And Riggs, you went Lucas Graham.
Lucas Graham.
And Vaughn went B. Vaughn getting information.
That's right.
All right.
Y'all better get information.
There you go. So we'll get into Song of the Year. And before we start this one, Song of the Year is actually a category that's awarded to the songwriters themselves. Right. So and the nominees are Formation, and the songwriters on that were Khalif Brown. And if you don't know Khalif Brown, he's one half of Ray Shrimmer. Oh. Yeah. So Ray Shrimmer, one half of Ray Shrimmer is actually, I thought both of them were on here. I'm not sure where the other one is, but Ashton Hogan, Beyonce Knowles, and Michael Williams II. They're the songwriters on Formation. Hello by Dale Atkins and Greg Kirsten. I Took a Pill in Ibiza by Mike Posner. Love Yourself by Justin Bieber, Benjamin Levin, and Ed Sheeran. Wow. I told you I was going to talk about Ed Sheeran later on. And 7 Years by Lucas Forchhammer, Stefan Forrest, Morten Palgard, and Morten Ristorp. So, Bon, I'll go back to you. What you got?
It's going to probably be Adele.
Riggs, what about you?
I think for this one it's a little different. I don't think Adele because I guess there has to be some poignancy, I would believe, for a songwriting credit. It's a well-written song, of course. I'm not taking anything from it. Actually, not that crazy about I Took a Pill in Ibiza, but it's written well. And, of course, Lucas Graham, 7 Years, that is an awesomely written song. So I would actually pick Lucas Graham for this song before I would pick them for the Record of the Year. This award. But I'm not changing anything, but I'm just going to say, again, Lucas Graham. And 7 years, yeah.
7 years, okay. And I agree with you. I want to give this one to Love Yourself.
Oh, you know what? I just skipped all over that.
Oh, you skipped Love Yourself?
I skipped all over that. That's another brilliant song.
Yeah.
So I would say, honestly, it's probably tied between those two, in my opinion.
I like to see everybody win, and I'll give Love Yourself this one since I nominated 7 years in the other category. So I'll give it to Love Yourself. And Riggs, you went 7 years?
Yeah, that's a toss-up. I'll just go ahead and make a decision. And I'll say 7 years.
And Vaughn went Hello. All right. And the biggest category of them all, the biggest prize, the biggest take home. This is what everybody makes music for. Not really, but. So the nominees are 25 by Adele, Lemonade by Beyonce, Purpose by Justin Bieber, Views by Drake, and A Sailor's Guide to Earth by Sturgill Simpson. Riggs, I'll go to you first.
I would say it's kind of a toss-up between Beyonce and...
Yeah, go and give B her props.
B.
And Purpose. Those are two really good albums. Like Drake, to me, his album was a little disappointing. He's like I always say, his features, his singles, and mixtape stuff is awesome. But when he comes out with an album, it's just a little different. Adele's album, it was a good album, awesome album. But like you said, it was very much like 21. But the Biebs, that's a good album. That's a good album, and Lemonade is a good album. I give this one to Beyonce.
Bon, what about you?
I take that back. I give it to Biebs.
Biebs, give it to Biebs. Justin
Make up
Bieber.
your mind and go with your first choice. I'm being a bully.
Justin Bieber had a commercial yesterday.
He did.
Yeah, it was some evolution of dance commercial. I forgot what brand it was for. But go ahead, man.
Oh, y'all already know what I was saying. B album was, everybody was talking about it. They didn't even know about it. And what was her numbers in the first week?
Her numbers in the first week, she didn't do quite 1 million, but I want to say she was around 700,000.
Yeah, I think she gonna get this. I would go with B, then I would go with, I love Drake, but I don't know Drake. Plus, you mess with J-Lo now, so.
That's a good look. I'm very excited for Drake, but yeah, I love J-Lo. But just going back to your point. Beyonce, she did at the end of 2016, she sold a total of 2.1 million albums last year. And audience, if you saw a trend in the albums that they picked this year for album of the year, 4 of them were the biggest selling albums of last year. Adele sold, 25 went diamond. She sold 3 million in her first week, 3.38 million in 1 week. That's impressive. Most albums would never do that.
Not in this day and age.
Beyonce did 2.1 million. Drake actually had the biggest selling album of last year with 4.1 million, and most of that was streams. 2 million of those were streams. And Justin Bieber, actually his album came out in 2015, and the Biebs, as Riggs likes to call them, it was certified 3 times platinum, 3 times multi-platinum. So though they were all big albums, and the dark horse here is Sturgill Simpson. He's a country artist, and he's a guy who drew a lot of critical acclaim. I mean, he's very well known throughout the industry. Most people, when they look on the list, they won't know him, and I haven't heard.
I'm not mad at Sturgill, but hey, don't change my choice.
Yeah. He's definitely the dark horse, and I don't expect him to win, but I'll just go ahead and make my pick because we're running out of time. Man, I'm not crazy about any of these albums, but I think it's Beyonce's time. I think this is her year. I think 25 is a retread of 21. Justin Bieber's album had a big impact, but it's been out way longer. It came out in 2015, but I think the thing about Beyonce's, about Lemonade, was it's not her best album, but it's her most important album. The video that accompanied
the whole album.
Yeah, the whole album. The visual album.
Yes.
The visuals made a big difference, and they touted it as the black woman's album. But all women can relate to this album. I mean, it's a story of infidelity. And if you're a woman, some men could probably relate to it.
There you go.
So in that sense, and honestly, when it came out, I thought she kind of fooled a lot of people. And I don't know. Jay-Z probably could still be out there doing his thing. You never know, but I think this is Beyonce's year. I think it's her time. She has 20 Grammys. She's the most nominated artist in history. I think she has like 63 total nominations in history. So I think it's her time, and I'm rooting for B. So I'm going Lemonade. And Vaughn, you had Lemonade.
That's right.
And Riggs.
Beeps.
All right, there you go. And honestly, I would have put some more albums in there, but it's just my opinion. But just a quick recap for album of the year. I went Lemonade. Vaughn went Lemonade. Riggs went Purpose by Justin Bieber. For song of the year, I went Love Yourself. Riggs went 7 Years, right?
Mm-hmm.
And Vaughn went Hello.
Yeah.
Record of the year, I took 7 Years. Vaughn went Formation by Beyonce. And Riggs, would you go 7 years?
7 years.
7 years. And Best New Artist, I think it was a Clean Sweep. No, Riggs took Anderson .Paak.
Yeah, he took Anderson.
Yeah, Riggs took Anderson .Paak. And Vaughn and I took Chance the Rapper. So we'll see on February 12th. Oh, audience, just a quick reminder. The Grammys do come on this Sunday, February 12th, at probably around 8 o'clock on CBS. So check it out. And we'll move on to the part of the show that I've been waiting on. Big Sean, my homeboy from the D. What up, though? That's what they say. What up, though?
And we're reviewing I Decided with a period.
Yeah, with a period. I Decided. And I'm so excited about this album, and I'll tell y'all why in a second. All right, here we go. So, as Vaughn stated, we're reviewing I Decided by Big Sean. And audience,
with the period.
Yeah, with the period. And audience, if you hadn't heard us before, we like to give you a quick bio. We just want to let you know a little bit about the artist before we start, because it sort of helps with the review and brings you up to speed. So we'll go ahead and jump into it. Big Sean is who we're talking about. His real name is Sean Anderson, and he was born March 25th, 1988 in California, but he was raised in Detroit, Michigan, home of the Motown sound, as Martin said, when Biggie came to town. And in 2005, Sean, his big break came when he met Kanye West at a Detroit radio station. Then he rapped for him. Yeah, he pulled Kanye to the side and said, "Man, I got to rap for you." And he was persistent. And he didn't stop until he rapped for Kanye. And that actually led to Sean being signed at the age of 20. He was signed to Good Music, which is Kanye's Def Jam imprint. So Big Sean, he signed to Def Jam, but he's under Good Music. And as of now, he has 4 albums all under his belt, starting with 2011's Finally Famous, Hall of Fame, followed in 2013, Dark Sky Paradise in 2015. And so far, his career accolades include 7 top 40 hits, including Marvin and Chardonnay, I Don't F With You, Dance, My Last, and Blessing, Riley Curry's favorite song. And he's also had 2 Grammy nominations, 1 platinum album in Dark Sky Paradise. And if you're interested, if you want to see Big Sean live, his tour starts March 17th, the I Decided Tour in Houston, Texas. So, here we go. So, Riggs, I'll go to you first. What was your first experience with Big Sean? When did you first hear him?
A few years ago, I guess on a mixtape. I don't even remember the song, but when you hear his voice, you're like, But then when he starts to go in, he's nice. I think he's one of the best out right now.
Vaughn, what about you? When did you first hear Big Sean?
Well, y'all know I listen to radio play,
okay,
and I don't really expand too much, but I heard that song, I Don't F With You. I didn't even know that was him. So then I was like, oh, that's Big Sean. So I started putting 2 and 2 together. So that's really when I started knowing who he was.
And for me, my first experience with him was My Last, the song with Chris Brown. That was his debut single. He'd had a few mixtapes prior to that, but that was my first experience with him. And I forgot what song that they sampled, but I want to say it was Can You Stand the Rain? And I had to go look that up. But that My Last had a really popular sample in it from a really big song. And that was my first experience with him. When I go back to you, after listening to I Decided, what stood out to you most?
This album is full of relationships. It's full of just him being who he is. And that's what I enjoyed about it. Like, he was teaching a lesson. Not really, I would say teaching a lesson, but like just talking about a relationship with a girl and how, that's what stood out to me. But that's what I enjoyed about it. It was about a lot of relationships, and he got some good stuff on it. And I'm glad I was introduced to him.
And for me, I'll just go next. When I heard this album, when I finished it after the first listen, my immediate reaction was to get up and start clapping. That's how strongly I feel about this album. I was in the bed while I was listening to it, and I wasn't going to get up. But in my mind, I saw myself, right, I was clapping in my mind. But reason being is that it spoke to me personally, and I feel that Sean, he's at a point in his life right now, and I'm only a year older than Big Sean. Not even that much older. I'm only probably maybe 7 months older than Big Sean. But he's at a point in his life where he's about his business. He's about furthering or building onto his legacy. He's about setting himself up down the road. And in the intro, it speaks volumes, because he did an interview with Zane Lowe and a few more people. But the thing is that he spoke from the perspective of his older self,
right,
on some parts of the album. And on the intro, there's an older guy. He opens it's voiced by an actor named J.R. Starr. And he says that, I'm going to work and I know this is not what I want to do with my life. Mm-hmm. And I'm going to be honest, I know some people that work with me. They listen to the show, and, I've worked a bunch of jobs for the last 70 years, and I'll be honest, I'm not completely happy.
Right.
And this is what this album was saying. And that's what he pretty much said in that intro. And it spoke to me so much. And not only that, but some more stuff that we'll get into later. But Riggs, what stood out to you most about the album?
Pretty much the same thing. The level of positivity, not like sugary, happy, dappy positivity, but, the same type of thing that he's a grown man. He's focused. He's very confident. His lyrics and his flow through this album is just ridiculous. I mean, there's nothing new, but the way he does it is almost like a new stamp on, like, switching up pace and the fast flow in his rap. You know what I mean? And he definitely paints pictures, and his double entendres are on point. He's a bad dude. He's going in. Same type of thing, When I heard that intro, I was like, wow, I got to do better.
Yeah.
Right, yeah.
I mean,
It make you think.
I agree. It's definitely a call to action. And there was, I forget what song this was in, but there was one line where he specifically mentioned that if you still stuck in the same place in 10 years, we don't need to be talking. We don't, there's no conversation that could be had between the two of us. And where he's at, like, I totally agree with him. I feel him, like, and Riggs, just overall, and we've touched the surface of it. How do you feel about his mindset, where he is right now on his album?
I'm a good bit older than Sean.
Yeah.
A good bit. It's almost like he's a motivational speaker. Like, I could do it. I'm gonna get me a Lambo.
Right.
I don't push that. I'm gonna turn on my engine while they're trying to interview me. Hollering a bunch of foolishness at me. Freak off. You know what I'm saying? He is a consummate, like, cool dude. When you hear him, the dude is just like cool. That's a cool dude. He's got flavor. His flow is just ridiculous, and his whole album, every song he can make a catchphrase that people just follow, and you know what I'm saying? He's that dude.
Yeah. What did he said one of them. He said, "I don't write it, I speak it." Like.
Yeah. I mean, he has a lot of quotables on this album,
yes.
and I mean, you could go from song to song and actually write down lyrics and recite them. Mm-hmm. Vaughn, what about you? What do you feel about his mindset?
I felt like he was in a good place where he wanted to tell you about the love, his mother, his grandmother. He was talking about the love of a friend, that they were good friends, and he wanted her, but he was like, I'm
jumping out the window.
I'm gonna jump out the window, So, and I like the way he cross-referenced that, like, jumping out the window. You'll think, what in the world? What he trying? But he gonna take a chance. He gonna take a chance. So I like that. You saw him vulnerable. You saw who he was and how he feel about women.
And that's a great point. I'm glad you mentioned that. How do you feel about the song he dedicated to his mom?
Oh yes.
Inspire me.
Oh yes. Like, I would want my son to say. I was sitting there listening to. I was like, I hope Santana say the same thing about me. Like,
proud that I'm your son. That's
yes.
big. I mean, I
yes.
really mean it. Say it like multiple times, like happy.
Yes. Yeah. That put a warm, fuzzy feeling in any mother's heart. It could put a warm, fuzzy feeling in you. So yeah, I loved it.
He speaks about his father too, and
right.
puts him up like, I got to do this because I'm my father's son, this and that. But then he turns around and says, "You too good for all these dudes. You even too good for daddy."
Yeah,
and I love that dude.
Yeah,
that's big.
That's big. That is big. I love that.
Yeah, that's big.
That.
And he definitely has an extremely mature view at this age, at this point in time, on women.
He does,
in a romantic way. That song where he's like, I believe everything you said, this and that, whatever, you was dead wrong.
What, jumping out the window?
Nah, he's talking about the chick.
Or owe me.
Huh?
Owe me.
Yeah.
Oh.
When he goes through that whole scenario, he goes to the bottom line, though, is that we both want one thing. So let's kind of put that beside, even though he goes back to it, but still.
Right. And I like that song.
Which is real.
Yeah,
Because
everybody got a relationship like that.
Right, and you can get past it, but still, you still don't, you don't forget that hurt.
And it's funny, in that one song specifically, in the audience, we're talking about "Oh Me." Mm-hmm. "Oh Me," it's actually, for those of you who do the bootleg thing, it's track number 8. So on "Oh Me," there was a lines that he mentioned, that he said specifically, and I don't have it in front of me, but just to paraphrase it, he pretty much says that if we're not on the same level of thinking, if we're not going the same direction, we don't need to be together.
That's
and he came to that moment within that song where he realized, okay, I really like you, but you're not the one for me, and I'm gonna continue to waste my time, and I'll be farther removed from my dream if I continue to mess with you. So he decides to let her go. I thought that was a key moment on that album. And while we're talking about the songs with women, let's go to "Jump Out the Window," which is my favorite song on the album. Yeah, I love "Jump Out the Window" because the concept of it was that this is a childhood friend, and she's dating a new guy now, and the new guy is no good for her. But Sean is like, okay, I've known you from such and such, and I don't think that you're respecting yourself. He's not respecting you, and you're not respecting yourself by continuing to stay with the guy. So why don't you let me get in? Boom.
And then he also says, you give good advice, but you don't take your advice. I was like, ooh, that's me.
Yeah. Oh, that's you.
And then I like the way you say, I'm going to turn him back into your friend.
Right. Like, yeah.
Right. There were some like key visual moments that I thought, like how he said that she would come over to his house and they would play Mario Kart.
Right.
And she would always pick the princess.
Right. And now you know that you're a princess, and yeah.
Exactly. And I think that was a great line, because I think it just shows his growth as a writer. And, I don't know who all, and after looking at the album credits, there were a lot of people involved in the writing. So Sean could have had some help. And this is a conversation we can have for another day, but I think in rap, people are so scared to bring in ghost writers because they're afraid of the backlash that they'll receive. But if somebody else comes in to help you write a song, if it's still your thoughts and your views, but they can help you bring everything out that you want to say, it's okay.
Right.
We all need help.
Oh,
yeah.
No, I agree. But it's funny, like, this album I just listened to back to back a couple of times. I don't know, after hearing Omi, and I heard Jump Out the Window again, I was like, I don't know.
Yeah.
So how you jump out the window, you kill yourself.
Right.
Take it slow.
Yeah.
Right.
And since well, we got one more song to talk about from the female, well, not from the female perspective, but involving a female, and that was Same Time Part 1 by his current girlfriend, Miss Jhené Aiko.
Yeah.
And this one was really short. It's about 1 minute and 30-some seconds, but it's only an interlude. But there's really not much to talk about here. But if you like this one, revisit 2088, their joint album, which we talked about earlier. But did you guys have any thoughts on that one?
Yeah, I mean, that was hot. And I didn't even know that they were, because I'm out the loop a little bit, but I didn't even know that they was in a relationship. I was like, wow. You could feel the sparks, like, through them singing. You could feel it. So that was a hot one, too. I liked it. I liked that, too. I had that on one of my favorites.
Yeah, they have great chemistry, and it started on his Hall of Fame album, Beware. I think Lil Wayne was on the track as well. But they have great chemistry, and every song that they do turns out great. So I love the two of them together, and I can't wait for their next 2088 album. Reese, did you have any thoughts on Same Time Part 1?
Oh, yeah, it's a sultry little song. I like it. It's tight.
I agree. It's one of my favorites. And everybody's favorite, this guy is a legend in the game. I mean, he's been gone for a few years now, but he'll pop up every now and then in the audience. I'm talking about Eminem, his fellow Detroit native, the Detroit MC God. That's what they call him. And I mean, I hate to use that word so loosely, the God so loosely, but if there is an MC God, he's one of them.
And you know what? That's something. I was listening to it, and Santana was like, "What you listen to Eminem for?" I said, "Oh, he on Big Sean new album." A 13-year-old know about Eminem. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I was like, he's on Big Sean new album.
Right.
Like, oh.
And it's fun.
And that's why he know how it sounds.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And it's funny because Santana wasn't even born when Eminem first album came out. He wasn't even around. So for him to know about Eminem, and I mean, Eminem completely, he kills it as he normally does. And I mean, it's classic Eminem. The one thing I love about Eminem is that he's unafraid to attack anybody.
Right.
And in this verse specifically, he goes at Donald Trump,
Sandra Bland.
Well, he doesn't talk about them specifically, but he mentions them.
Yeah, he mentions them. Mm-hmm.
And Coulter, who's the social and political commentator, he talks about her. And there was somebody else that he went at, but I love Eminem. What did you think about his verse, Vaughn?
Oh yeah, it was like he said everything that needed to be said. And I had to go back and listen to that thing again. I was like, hold up. Like, he do what he do.
Riggs, what about you?
Oh, I'm one of the dudes who will tell you that I believe a lot of times Eminem is a bit overrated and his flow surpasses his actual lyrics in a lot of songs. Not saying that he's bad.
Right.
He's still one of those dudes. But in this song right here, oh, he goes in, he kills it.
Yeah.
I love Eminem on this song. I love both of them on that song. That's one of my favorite songs on the No Favors.
No
I mean,
Favors,
just the whole
yeah.
premise of the track too. When it comes to Big Sean, there's more of a direction,
mm-hmm.
And not just flowing. So I love that about the song. But the whole bounce and the vibe of the song is crazy.
Yeah,
Both
it's
of them kill it.
it's
And
definitely. Go ahead.
that one and moves.
Moves,
Moves is tight too. The flow of moves is ridiculous, and and the lyrics are tight, super tight.
Yeah, I agree. That'll be great in the strip club.
Right, that's what I thought too. I was like, whoa, like he like bounce it without everything.
Right.
I'm like, okay.
Yeah, that would definitely go well in the strip club. I can, and audience, I don't frequent strip clubs, but I've been in a few and I can hear it being played in there. Just to jump back to No Favors real fast, Big Sean, I won't say he empowered a lot of women on this out. Well, he did. He brought them to the forefront, and what I'm trying to get to is that
Showing respect is empowering, so I go with that.
yeah, a woman produced No Favors. Her name she goes by Wonder Girl. Her name is Ebony Wonder Girl Asham Rende. She's from Canada, but she's been in the industry a long time.
Canada has been real big over the past 10 years.
Yeah. I mean,
Some talented.
they arguably got the three biggest things in music right now: Justin Bieber, Drake, and Weeknd. So, yeah, the Canadians are killing it.
Yeah.
Yeah. But we'll move on to favorite songs. Vaughn, what were some of your favorite songs?
Well, I liked Same Time, Part 1. I like Light. I like that. Bounce Back. No Favors. Jump Out the Window. Moves. Same Time. Owe Me. Sunday Morning. Jetpack. That was about his grandmother. Inspire Me. Sacrifices. And Bigger Than Me. So that was pretty much like the
whole thing.
Yeah, stuff that is just really, I like pretty much the whole album.
Riggs, what about you?
Pretty much the same thing, man. The whole album is tight. Each group of songs, even though they're not in a literal group, but as far as the type of song and perspective, he just comes in like basically 3 different directions, and they're like all tight. So, man, I love the whole album. Moves is dope, like I said before. No Favors. I love No Favors. Light, Bounce Back, halfway off the balcony is hot too, and Sacrifices. So he's got a lot of stuff that's basically talking about success and having a positive mindset, and having confidence, and not forgetting certain things, and you have to make sacrifices to be successful.
Yes,
you don't get something for nothing. You got to work hard, but if you believe it, you can do it. And he doesn't do it in a PSA kind of way. He does it so you can feel it, and I appreciate that. He broke it
down too, like every sacrifice you can name,
and the sacrifices the people around you make too.
Right.
It takes a village, and I also like the fact that his rhymes, or actually, what's in him when his speaking to his mother, that he says that he's lucky, because it doesn't matter how talented. Right now, there's somebody who's just as talented as Big Sean. We went over the Grammy, just as talented as Beyonce, just as talented as Adele, who may be making, mediocre money or mediocre, local fame doing what they do. But it takes a little bit of luck.
Yeah, it does.
Or good fortune, or whatever you want to call it, timing. So I like the fact that he doesn't just say, oh, I'm just me as I'm this way because I'm just amazing. But it's because I'm amazing and I caught these breaks, and I made sacrifices and all of that. So this is a good album.
Yeah, I agree. And speaking of sacrifices, I love the Migos verse on sacrifices. Like I hadn't listened to a ton of Migos music, and I'm happy for Migos. I mean, they've already come out of the gate with the #1 Bad and Bougie, and Culture is the #1 album this week. But I think it's Quavo and Offset. I think those are the 2 that rap on. I'm not sure. It's 3 of them. You got Takeoff, Quavo, and Offset. But whoever it is, I love their flow. And these are probably, I hadn't listened to the album yet, but these are the best verses I've heard from the Migos. But I love the entire album. Conceptually, this is by far Sean's best album. It's musically, you can hear it. It's very dark. It's very haunting. It's very eerie. I think Dark Sky Paradise had the bigger singles, Blessing and I Don't Mess With You, but conceptually, in terms of it being a well thought out, executed album, this is by far his best body of work, and it spoke to me personally because I'm at the same place where Sean is. I really want to get somewhere in life, and he's doing exactly what it is that I want to do. I'm not saying rap, but if I could rap, this is the album that I would have wanted to make. But I love every song on here, with maybe the exception of "Oh Me," and I don't know, it's not a bad song. It's just something about me and DJ Mustard. DJ Mustard produced the beat, and I don't know what it. I don't know. I don't think.
Listen to this record in 5 years, and you can be like, "This is one of the best songs ever."
Well, and one of my other problems with "Oh Me" was that I felt that it was a slight detour in the album. Throughout most of the album, he was focused, but on that one song in particular, he fell back, and and it's only a natural part of the process. You fall back and you mess with a person from your past, and it's only a natural part of the process. But I think he slightly lost focus there. It's not one of my favorite songs, and maybe it's the whole DJ Mustard. He's a good producer. Mm-hmm. I'm just not a huge fan of Mustard, but. Everything else, and I'm not saying "Oh Me" is bad, because it's a good song, but everything on this album is good. It's a solid body of work. It's, in my opinion, it's the front runner for me. I decided better than Tribe's album. I like it better than Run the Jewels. I like it better than Common's album. I like it better than J. Cole. And I put this question on the list: is it time that we really start to redirect our top 5? And Sean, he mentioned it in Moves. Is it time that we start to rethink our top 5? We haven't even discussed the top 5, but does this change his positioning in rap for you?
Yeah. And when he said it, I was like, yeah, true. It wasn't no big debate. And just, man, when you listen to it, some of the voices in my head and stick with it. The end of that, the way he flows through the end of that song, oh my goodness. To keep breathing through that and coherent and just spit. And it was a rant, but it was a control rant. Crazy.
Yeah, dude got bars, and I have to pull up Genius for everything these days. I have to look at the album lyrics.
I was too. I'm on that.
Like he says so much stuff, and I just wanted to point out this one lyric, and it was so visual, and it's actually on the last song, Bigger Than Me. He said, "First time I seen the dead body, I was 14. Yeah. And I felt the pressure. Mm-hmm. Like if I don't get it, I might end up next to him." Mm-hmm. That was arguably the biggest or most well said or most vividly portrayed line on the album. And I don't say you have to be black to experience these things. You could be anybody, right. No matter what the race is. But to see, if that doesn't put any pressure on you to see a dead body at 14 years old, if that doesn't change the way you think, something's wrong.
Yeah, something's wrong. It's like you either get it or you don't.
Right. And Sean, he got it. And that's the whole thing that we're trying to get to, audience. Sean gets it. He's in a place that he's in a position to change his life and change his family's life.
Oh, and he talk about that and his city.
Yeah, his city.
And his city.
Yeah.
He only talk about him and his mama retired. He talking about and his city.
Right. And if you've been to Detroit, you would know what he talking about.
It ain't no easy living there. None at all.
So Vaughn, what about you? Just back to the question. How do you feel about Sean and his position in rap right now?
Oh, he done changed it up.
Yeah.
He's a front runner.
I agree. Would you recommend this album to one of your friends?
Of course. And like I said, I didn't know about him too much before that except for radio play. But, oh yeah, it's a definite. I would say go get it. Yeah, I cop that.
Riggs, what about you?
Oh, yeah. Already. Hands down, yeah.
Yeah, he over there. I was wondering what was wrong with him. He's over there bobbing his head. I was like, you okay?
Thought he was crazy.
So yeah, he was listening to Big Sean.
Yeah, he listening to it while we're recording, and so we're all in agreement that we'll still be listening to this 6 months from now.
Oh yeah, I'm about to put it in my playlist.
Yeah, and Sean, like Riggs said, Sean, he put all other rappers on notice. And he set the bar so high for rap this year in 2017, and Run the Jewels was supposed to come out this year, but they dropped it the day before Christmas. So this is the big first event album this year, in my opinion, in all of music. And I think people need to, and not just in rap, but music in general, people need to recognize that Sean is a force to be reckoned with in this game. People need to start, they've taken him seriously, but I think he's really arrived on this album.
Yeah, definitely. Now Run the Jewels, now the flow kind of, they can go back and forth when it comes to flow because those that dudes, they spit. But like you said, conceptually, Sean is doing big things.
Right. Yeah, and they're both good albums, and it could go either way. I just give this one the slight edge because it spoke to me personally, and I think great music does that. And it probably won't speak to everybody in the way that it spoke to me, but for me, it said something to me personally, and it just said, stop being lazy, get up, do what you need to do. If you want to get somewhere, do what you need to do so you can be like Sean. Because, like, I don't want to be like that old dude on the intro.
Right.
I don't want to be 50, 60 years old.
Did he get hit by a car?
It sounded like he did. He sounded like he did. It sounded like he did.
Because he heard it. And I'm like, okay, did he get hit by a car? While he's sitting there.
He might have. It sounded like he did.
So,
but he spoke to future Sean, spoke to present Sean throughout the album. But I don't want to be 50, 60 years old and have regrets. And I'll just say this to anybody who's listening. Whoever you are, whatever it is that you want to do in life, follow your dreams and don't let anyone stop you. And that's what Sean is trying to get across to everybody. And he opened up. He was very vulnerable on this album, as you all said. So I can congrats, Sean. I love it. My favorite album.
He was open, but I don't know if I would say vulnerable because he was like strong through the whole thing. You know what I'm saying?
And I said he was vulnerable because on the song For His Mama, he can't sing, but he had some moments on there where he really tried to sing, and it would have been easy for him to go out and recruit a Chris Brown or his girlfriend or somebody else, to sing that hook. But the fact that he opened himself up knowing that he can't sing, like, right, and to me that was vulnerable. He could have easily went and got somebody, but for him to do that, I think it just spoke volume to speak about his mom, and for him to even open up and admit, like, man, I don't even call my mom back sometimes.
Right.
Like,
and
my
he was
mom,
like, here, take the phone, man. Your mom called. Take the phone.
Right.
Yeah.
You would think that would be the first person you have.
Right.
So.
But when he in his zone,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But yeah, I love Big Sean. But you guys have anything else?
I'm good.
No,
good.
I'm good. I just want to say thank you to Big Sean for showing the sisters some love and showing us that, telling us, because sometimes we need to be reminded that we're better than what we really allow ourselves to be. Exactly. We are much better, and we deserve much better. And that advice that we give, make sure that we take it.
Yeah.
Because that's what spoke out to me. I was like, dang.
And it's funny, 2 weeks in a row, we got two great advice songs. And Kehlani had a great song. It was actually called Advice on her album. Mm-hmm. And what Sean said, she said it from a female's perspective. She was pretty much saying that I'm in love with this dude and I need to get away from him, but I need to take my own advice and get away from him, but I just can't let him go.
Right.
So we got two great advice songs. So ladies, I hope you listen to us. That's why we got Vaughn on the show. We can get a lady's perspective, a woman's perspective, and it makes a difference.
Well, thank you guys.
Yeah.
And the old dude's perspective.
Yeah.
I'm going to do better.
You going to do better?
Yeah, we don't want you to be like the old dude on the intro.
I'm halfway there. I'm going to do better.
Reed's going to be doing the intro on Big Sean.
You know what's crazy? I don't know why, man. Maybe it's just me. Why everybody curse when they're talking to God nowadays?
Man, that's a long conversation, but people have lost a.
I mean,
what was that verse he said about he was talking about? But he was talking about God. He was saying, "You go to church." And
right.
Yeah, I like that. I like that verse. I like that verse a lot.
Yeah, we'll have to find that one. I mean, he has so many verses, so many quotables.
Not just what you do inside, you got to do the same things outside.
Outside, right.
Yeah.
Right.
But yeah, musically, he completely avoided traditional song structure. Right. He did his thing. I mean, it's in the audience, we hadn't talked about the actual production itself, but it's very similar to Dark Sky Paradise, and a guy named Amari Johnson produced. He pretty much had his hand in most of the tracks, and Metro Boomin. Okay. He did Sacrifice, and who produced Bad and Bougie. Metro Boomin, he doing his thing. He did Sacrifice and a couple other tracks on there, but congrats to them. But we'll go ahead and wrap it up. We'll go ahead and shout some people out. Vaughn, got shout outs?
I would just like to shout out to my little Santana who turned 13 on Thursday.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday. I have a teenager now. And shout out to my mother and my father and my brothers and my sisters and my girls was here from D.C. this weekend. They came down. Yeah, they came down for my best friend for her housewarming. So we had a nice big old Super Bowl party. So I would like to shout out to my girls from the DMV. I enjoy seeing you guys. I love you guys. And it's always a good time when we get together.
Riggs, what about you?
Oh, man. Shout out all my Falcons fans. I'm not the hugest Falcons fans, but I'm a Falcons supporter.
Right,
There you go.
Man, stay up. Don't lose faith in your club, in your city.
Continue to rise
You
up.
know, they had an awesome season, and we'll hope they have a better one next year. You know, congratulations to the Pats and their fans. No hate until next year. Shout out to everybody listening. Shout out to y'all, my Switch Style Podcast family. Shout out to Big Sean.
Big Sean,
Shout out Sean. Holla at me.
Yeah, Big Sean.
I'll let him.
I'm good.
Thank you, everybody, for listening. Thank you, Riggs, Vaughn. Of course, if you're listening right now or if you will be listening in the future, we thank you. We appreciate it. Thank you, Big Sean, and everybody who was involved in the making of I Decided. And hopefully we'll see you guys next time on episode 46.
46.
And that's all I got. So thank you again, and we'll see you next time.
Peace.